Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining from. I am HR Funk, and this is my firing line. And this is the online firearms show that is completely dictated by you, your questions, and your comments, except when I'm rambling on about other things. And I'm going to do quite a bit of rambling today because I have a big announcement, and I'm going to delay this just a little bit to give any last minute folks a chance to get in here because I'm really excited about this and I want to get the word out to as many people as possible. So while I'm waiting, let me give a big hello to everyone that I've seen so far. Some of you have been waiting very patiently for about 20 minutes or so. I think the first person in here was Scott from South Carolina. We've got Terry Barnes and Trexter right behind him. Russ Michael is here. Katie Cowboy. John G is here from Nashville. And by the way, John, I'm jealous because I really like Nashville. It's a fantastic town. It's just a fun town. It's hard to go to Nashville and just not have a good time. So have a great time while you're there. Who else do we have? Ben Crane is here. Craig Benz. And do we have anyone else? Winchester 73. Chris 1775. Jeff H. Josh Twyman. Glad to see you, Josh. And Jeff Tim, and and Rabbi. Rabbi is here. Everybody be careful. Rabbi is here. You never know what that's going to portend. According to the ticker over here, I've got 41 people. Actually, just went back to 38. So apparently I offended 2 people that just clicked out. But in any case, maybe somebody else will click back in their place. I have been looking forward to this. In fact, this was a saga that started several days ago. Actually, let me go back a little bit farther into the past than that. Some of you are aware that back in late May, early June, somewhere like that, YouTube, again, changed their rules on content. And it's had an impact on a lot of different types of content that goes up onto YouTube. But specifically among them are the firearms content creators. And basically what they're trying to do, I think, is make it impossible for firearms content creators to make any sort of money as we're posting videos on YouTube, with the exception maybe of channel memberships or outside funding sources like Patreon or something like that. Because they are trying to restrict ad revenue from anything that features commentary on sponsors to the channels or directs people to sponsors or whatever. Now, the good thing for me is that I don't receive any sort of payment from my sponsors. They don't pay me for anything. But I'm able to get, for example, from House of Pain Munitions, they sponsor some of my ammunition, not all of it, but some of my ammunition I get from them. And a lot of you know that they will loan me firearms to be able to use in the videos. So I don't have to purchase every single thing or borrow it from a private individual, which is what I had to do before my affiliation with them. And I would not have been able to bring you nearly as much content over the last couple of years without the help of House of Pain. Now it's House of Pain Armament is the firearm side, but House of Pain Munitions and House of Pain Armament. So that has just been extremely beneficial for me. So I try to reward that or pay back their helping the channel by mentioning them at the end of every video and telling you about the discount code, because the more money that they make, the more willing they are to loan me firearms or provide ammunition or what have you. Same thing with Optics Planet. They do not pay me monetarily, but what they do is they provide products for me to review. Typically, a lot of my optics that I get, or a lot of the accessories or what have you, scope mounts or tools or whatever, come from Optics Planet. They give me the discount code, and then they track that. So the more of you that use that discount code, they know that you basically watched whatever video or that you are a viewer of the channel. So they determine how much value they get from sponsoring me or allowing me, in their parlance, to be a brand ambassador. So the more valuable I am, the higher the price of the items are that they're willing to send me. And I just got a rifle scope from them for review. You're going to see this coming up in the next couple of weeks. That is the MSRP on it is $1,300, I think, $1,299. Their price on it is below that. Their price is about $850, but they send me that to be able to review because of all of you who go there and use the discount code and all that. I don't know. When I first started out with them, I was able to get optics and things that were down in the $150, $200 range, something like that. Now I'm up to where I'm getting stuff that's around $1,000 that they'll send me in order to be able to review it. So that's my relationship with them. Some of these other places that you will see who are sponsors to the channel, Olight is a great example. If they come out with a new product, like when they came out with the O site, they actually sent me a pre-release version of the O site. So when they went live with that, I had my review ready to go. And on the day it went live, my review was one of the ones that people could look at. Again, they do not pay me directly, but they will send me products to be able to review. And I try to return that value to them by mentioning them and providing the discount code and all of that. So some of the channels out there who are paid directly by their sponsors, some of these people that are sponsored by Sonoran Desert Institute, or they're sponsored by this or that firearms company or this or that retailer or whatever, are getting paid directly for their sponsorship of those entities. And when YouTube lowered the boom on any sort of discount codes or websites or whatever that went back to those sponsors, it really put a crimp in the ability of those channels to make any kind of money, because YouTube already is demonetizing videos right and left. So they're not getting any ad revenue coming in from YouTube. And basically YouTube now is trying to prevent them from being paid by sponsors. So everybody has been scrambling in the last couple of months trying to figure out how to continue to maintain their relationships with their sponsors, but also be able to continue to post videos on YouTube, because YouTube is where the viewership is. And I appreciate all of the comments from everyone who's talked about trying different platforms. Some of you know I've had a Rumble channel for probably 2.5 years now. It gets very few views. I've never received any kind of ad revenue from Rumble. And I don't mean that as a slight or an insult to any of you who have watched the videos on Rumble. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But in terms of sheer numbers of views, if I post a video on YouTube and it gets, say, 10,000 views, and I post that same video on Rumble in the same number of time, it'll get, I don't know, 100, maybe. So, I mean, it's not even close in terms of the number of views and the ad revenue potential for posting things on Rumble. And I've recently heard other people say exactly the same thing, who are posting firearms content on YouTube, and they are also posting it on Rumble or other sources. There's really no comparison in the number of views. And if you think to yourself, and I do the same thing, I'm not being critical here, but if I want to know how to bake a cake or how to work on the brakes on my car or whatever, I go to YouTube first and look for whatever it is that I'm looking for there to try to figure out how to do whatever it is I want to do. And YouTube is so prolific that virtually everybody in the world who has access to the internet is doing the same thing. So that's where everyone is who is going to be watching what's going on. So anyway, back to what I was saying. The difficulty here of late has been trying to find a way to maintain that relationship with sponsors and still post content on YouTube without violating this new set of rules that they have come up with. And different people have done different things. Different people are posting things, and you've heard me recently at the end of the videos, it feels really awkward when I do this, and it's got to sound awkward on your end, where I used to say, thanks for watching, everyone. Also, if you're going to purchase anything from Optics Planet, be sure to use my discount code, blah, 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 blah. Also, remember House of Pain, yada, 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 and Targets Online. And if there was anybody particular in that video, like Olight or whatever, I mentioned them too. Now I'm kind of doing this tap dance around, if you're looking at purchasing anything, check out the info section and see if there's anything that can help you. I hate doing it. Hate it. But I'm trying to do that to keep my what little bit of ad revenue I do get coming in. And as I've said in the past, there is no rhyme or reason to what they demonetize and what they don't. It just is luck of the draw. I've got videos on, this firearm and that two different firearms, but the format of the video is exactly the same. The things that I'm doing and showing are exactly the same. This one's monetized and this one's not. So it's completely arbitrary. It's completely random. So what I have decided, and what do we got here? 60 people are in here now. So I'm going to unveil this soon, but let me just check and make sure that I have not missed any important comments from any of you over here in the chat section. Yeah, I warned everybody about Rabbi. Mark, man, I'm going to butcher your last name, and I am so sorry. Ruhonen is here from Florida. Thanks for joining. T&M Diecast Reviews. And Josh Slack, greetings from Manchester, Tennessee. Thanks for joining. Majesty is here. And Daryl is here. Guns are offensive to bad guy. Yeah. Just don't join a Leviathan group. No, and I don't think they would have me. It seems like I don't want to be negative against any other content creators out there. That's not what this statement is meant for. But it seems like there is a certain type of creator they're looking for, and it ain't me. That's what I'll say. Rabbi, oh Lord, Chief is a brand ambassador. Now we're going to see him. Well, don't worry, Rabbi. I've been a brand ambassador now for. Trying to think. Optics Planet actually reached out to me. This was probably 2017 or 2018 that I started my affiliation with them, which has been fantastic. They're a great organization to work with. And as best I can tell, they've been growing by leaps and bounds. I don't know. I hope I've had some ability to assist them with that. But it's been fun. I'm able to watch them. I'm watching House of Pain, who is also growing by leaps and bounds. It seems like every time I go there, they've purchased another brand out there. They brought in Spark Munitions. They brought in, oh, shucks. Korban is now under House of Pain's umbrella. I'm trying to think who all else they have, but they're just going like gangbusters. I wish them nothing but the best. They're a great organization. These places that I work with, and I'm kind of picky. I am sort of, I use some discretion with regard to whose products I accept and who I will review. I could have a lot more products. Now, some of them are really out of left field. I got one the other day. I've had perfume manufacturers contact me. I have had somebody that makes a neck pillow like you wear when you're on an airplane. They got a hold of me and wanted a review. What other wacky ones have I had lately? A cordless leaf blower. That was one I got either today or yesterday. I can't even think now, but I get some crazy ones in here and I just kind of chuckle and delete them, and that's that. But of the ones that that you actually see, I communicate back and forth with them. Some of them, I make them aware I will not take any kind of monetary payment. I don't want any kind of commission or anything like that, because that feels too much like a bought and paid for infomercial to me. I want to maintain my autonomy to be able to present whatever my honest opinion is of whatever item that I am reviewing. So I don't want any money from them. Now, I could make a lot more money if I did those kind of things, but that's not what it's about for me. For me, this is all about the information that I present to all of you. So if I look at a firearm, or I look at an optic, or I look at a tool, or I look at some accessory, I want to be able to evaluate that thing and then tell you all what I really think of it. Now, I might be wrong. I might have some misconception, or I might think, oh, this thing could be better with this or that or the other thing. And then I find out, oh, no, it's like this for a certain reason. And if I make a mistake, I try to come back in a later video and say, guess what? Got it wrong. Made a mistake there. Here's what, I got this information back from the manufacturer. So there are those kind of things that come up once in a while, but not very often. So let's see, where are we here? I don't know if I made it all the way down through here. Dan Byers is here. Hi, Dan. No Shield Gun. That's a great name. No Shield Gun Reviews. I like that. Josh Twyman. Joseph Walls abandoned his unit when they were going to war and lied about his rank for years. He technically committed stolen valor for years, which is my understanding. That's kind of what is coming out, or what has come out over the last several weeks. Got to go back to work. Well, thanks for joining, TNM. Have a great day at work. I'm glad you're here. Tune back in later on to get this announcement that I'm going to be making here momentarily. Rabbi, Optics Planet has always been a classy company to buy from. Really stand behind their products. They really do. They're a great company to work with. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody else out there, but I work with them. I think they do a great job. And they're just good people. So I like working with them. No Shield Gun Reviews likes Optics Planet. Gribble D. Oops. Looks like you might be talking to somebody else that I missed. Tripod was neat. I'm glad you like that, Craig. I like that too. That was one of those companies that reached out to me where I just opened up my email and there was something from Momboli, and they were asking me if I wanted to try their tripod. So it's the same routine every time. I go to the website, I look at the item, I try to get whatever information I can about the company. Is this a fly-by-night outfit, or they've been around for a while? Do they seem like they stand behind their products? Do they have decent products? And after evaluating them, I went back and I said, sure, I would like to try the tripod. So they sent me the tripod. It actually came when I was down in South Carolina. So it took me a while to get to the review. Now, one thing I do before you see the video go live on YouTube is I send them a preview. Now, it doesn't change anything that I say unless I make a mistake. Like, for example, if I say, whatever, here's where to go to find information about this, and I put the wrong link down or something, then I'll go back in and edit it and change that. But if it's like my opinion of it, or I say, I didn't like this about it, or I didn't like that about it, or whatever, it doesn't change any of that. The only thing is I send them a preview out of courtesy. So if it is going to be a negative review, at least they know what's coming and they don't get blindsided after they sent me something to review. I feel that's just courteous. I've got a review coming up tomorrow that is going to go live at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And there are some negative things in that review. And I've tried to contact the manufacturer. In fact, I've been trying for about 2 weeks and I can't get a hold of them. So the video is going to go live. If they feel blindsided, I can't help it, but I can't delay this any longer because I've been holding off for 2 weeks for the video to go live. So I've done my best to contact them. I've emailed, I tried to call, and I can't get a hold of anybody. So unfortunately, this is going to be one that I don't know if they're going to see it ahead of time or not, but I did try to do that for them. KD Cowboy, do you get to keep the stuff companies ship to you? Sometimes. Usually if it comes from Optics Planet, I get to keep it. If it comes from Olight, I get to keep it. Sometimes I'll get something that I get to review and send it back. A lot of the firearms coming from House of Pain almost always go back unless I purchase them, which seems to happen odd number of times. But if it's something I like, if it's something I don't like, then obviously I don't keep it. I think I've been able to. I was trying to remember the other day. I was thinking about this. I think I've been able to keep, because I thought, can I count them on one hand? I think I can count on one hand the firearms that I've been able to keep. So of all the firearms you've seen reviewed and everything else, there's been literally a handful that I've been able to keep, that they've been transferred to me. And as a whatever, thank you for doing the review, I get to keep those firearms. But not a lot. Now, I know there are some of the larger channels out there that's part of what the deal is with them. They want a firearm in return for creating a video. I'm not to that level. I can't demand anything like that. And like I said, I've had a few of the manufacturers do that, but it has been very, very few. Let's see, where are we here? What in the world are you talking about, Ben? Did injustice mind meld with the rabbit? Oh dear Lord, make it stop. What in the world are you doing? Rabbi is talking about morbidly obese Middle Eastern women. You scare me, Rabbi. All right, time to get to this. So let me change something quickly here in the settings for the live stream. And here we go. Da, 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 da. Looking at the virtual background here, what I have done to try to deal with this situation from YouTube is I have created and launched my own website. And what you see behind me here is part of the home page to the website. It is hrfunk.com. So it's not hard to remember. If you type in, and if you bring up a separate screen right now, you can look at it, hrfunk.com. That will take you to my website. Now, I'm just getting started with this, but my plan is, if I have discount codes, or I have sponsor information, or I have whatever that I think is going to cause a problem with YouTube, what you're going to hear me say at the end of the videos is, I'll do my usual ending and I'll say, for more information on this and a discount code, go to hrfunk.com and everything is there. And when you go to my website, you'll see the one little button down here that says product links and discount codes. When you go there, if I was just reviewing a product or whatever, and there's a discount code for it and a link to the manufacturer and all that, that's going to be under that tab. I've got some other things on there. I've got an about section on me. So if anybody doesn't know who I am or they wonder anything about me, they can read that about section. I've got a news and information section that I'm going to try to work on basically every day. It's a little weird right now because I don't feel like I've got it set up quite the way I want it to. But if I'm going to be making an appearance somewhere, or I'm going to be whatever, I put a little announcement on there today. So if you click on the news and information, you'll see that it mentions this live stream at 2:00 Eastern time today. So I've got that on there. I want to come up with sort of a way that I can. Well, I think I can do this now. I can post links to the videos on YouTube. I don't think my web host service will host videos as well. So I can't post videos directly to the website and have that as a source for everyone to come and look at. I wish I could. But if there's a way to do that, I don't know. Now, just to give you a little bit of information on this website itself, as I said, I started working on this probably Tuesday. In fact, the first thing I did Tuesday was I got a new email address, and you can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. My new email address is through Google Mail, and it's hrfunksmail@gmail.com. I was trying to keep this as easy as I could for everybody to remember. So if you want to shoot me an email, if you want to be a guest on the show, send it to hrfunksmail@gmail.com. It'll come to me. That's also the email or where the email comes through. If you send me a message through the website, it comes to that as well. And I've got it on my phone, I've got it on my computer. So I will get those emails from you if you send them to me. And what I'm hoping as I develop this thing is that if there are manufacturers out there, or there are people that want to contact me professionally, they can do that through the website. If there are people that, like all of you, that just want to ask me a question or whatever, you can do that through the website. So I'm trying to make this sort of a one-stop shop for HR Funk. And then there are other things, ideas that I have hopefully develop this going into the future. But that's the big announcement for today. And that's why I wanted to wait until we got as many people in here as we could. And it looks like we've got 68 people here now. So feel free to share the website, tell your friends, whatever else. The videos are still going to be on YouTube. And you'll see on the website homepage here, there's a place that says click here for HR Funk's YouTube channel. If you click on that, that takes you to my channel. Now, this is important because if you go a period of time and you don't see a video, and for years now, I've been posting 2 videos a week, almost every single week of the year. So if you've gone a week or two and you've not seen an HR Funk video, and you go to the website and you click on there, it's going to take you to the channel page. And in all likelihood, you're going to see videos listed on there that you never got a notice for. So I hope people will check this routinely to see what's going on. Check the news section where I can tell you whatever. I'm going to be at House of Pain this weekend, or I'm going to be here or there this weekend, or whatever. Because I want to try to be focused on this. I want to try to keep this going. It cost me some money to get this up and running, and I want to try to make it a worthwhile endeavor. And what I'll probably do is at the end of a year, because I had to set everything up for a year to begin with, I'll reevaluate this and I'll see if I'm going to continue it or if it just hasn't panned out and I'm going to end it. I've tried some things in the past. Some of you might remember, I had a couple of social media accounts. I had a Facebook account for a while. I had a Twitter account back when it was Twitter. When Parler was going, I had a Parler account. And none of that ever worked the way I wanted it to work. I ended up doing away with all of them. I have no Twitter, no Parler, no Facebook, no nothing right now. And I considered, prior to the website, going back to one of those. I even talked to Mimi about it. But with some of the restrictions on those and the things you have to be careful about saying and all that, I thought, am I just going to be getting back into the same boat again, where all of a sudden, if I post something or I say something, now I'm going to be put in Facebook timeout or whatever. And I thought, on the website, it's my website. I'm paying for it. I can post whatever I want to on there, and that's just what's going to be on there. So that's what I'm looking at. As I said, that's the big announcement for today. So let me jump back over here and see what anybody might have had to say about this. James Vatter is here. Well, yeah, Mimi also let me buy new socks. That was the big other thing, Rabbi. Thanks. And I'm going down through here looking for, some of you guys are talking to each other, which is fine. When is OnlyFans coming? That's the real moneymaker. I'll have to look into that one. My wife was president. Wow, I got your last name correct. I'm shocked. I was so afraid that I was going to mispronounce that, Mark. So I try my best. I hate to mispronounce people's names. I do my best. So somehow I clicked on something of Rabbi's here. Let me get that off. That was an accident. Jeff H, you can embed your videos on your site at YouTube or Rumble. Yeah, I realize I can do that. That's kind of what I'm doing, but it'll still require videos to be uploaded there in order for anyone to be able to watch them. Craig Benz, are you allowed to link your news? Yes, I can post the links on there. I haven't done it yet. That's just one of those things that I haven't gotten to just exactly yet. But I might have to create a new page for that. I might have to create a page that's titled new videos or something like that. And you go there and it'll start. Now, I'm not going to go back to whatever I have, 1,000, and I don't even know what the current number is, over 1,000 videos, and try to list those all on a website. That's just going to be more than I can do. But what I'll probably do is start from now and start listing videos on there. So if you go to the website and you can click on the video page and see what's listed on there that you might not have seen yet. Now, when you click on there, it's still going to come up as a YouTube viewer, and that's what you're going to see listed, or it will direct you back to YouTube for that video. But that's one of the things I want to look at moving forward. He blew his allowance. Yes, I blew my allowance on the website. Mark is a Finlander, so the last name ends in Honen. And I'll try to pronounce it again. Ruhonen, I think, is the way that's pronounced. Cool name. And I've had other people from Finland. It's so fantastic. People from Scandinavia or Europe or wherever chime in here, and everyone else around the world. That's one of the biggest things I love about my what I guess now is what I'll call an online presence, not just a YouTube presence, but it's my ability to connect to firearms enthusiasts around the world and share ideas and talk back and forth. I just love that, all across the US, all around the world, South America, Asia, Europe, wherever. I just absolutely love that. So thanks to everyone who joins. Guile Jackson, man, I didn't know it went live 0230 in the Philippines. Well, thanks for tuning in. It's always so hard for me because no matter what time I plan a live stream, it's always somewhere in the world, the middle of the night. It's always somewhere early in the morning. It's always somewhere late in the evening. So I was hoping 2 o'clock would work pretty well. I know for some folks out on the West Coast, that's still West Coast of the U.S. That's still in the morning for them. They're still not waking up, but doing their morning routine. And I know that some folks in Europe, it's starting to get toward late afternoon over there. But I wish I could have it go live at the optimal time for everybody in the world, but it's just impossible to do that. Not and actually have it live. Wow, and I'm missing a bunch of comments over here. Jeff Tim, how about a friends section for your on your page for folks here to do videos and other content? That's a good idea. That's something I may well look at doing. 9357, happy Friday to you. Rabbi, Patreon is a bad option either. I started to work on a Patreon page years ago, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And I started getting into it, and I don't know, it was not real intuitive to set the thing up. Then I started hearing stories about how Patreon was getting skittish about firearms content too, and I just never went back and finished that. What I did was started the channel memberships on YouTube, which was a lot easier, and it's kind of the same idea for people if they want to go there and essentially make a donation. Now, the one thing that I am terrible at is so many people out there. Now, let me back up a step or two. I think a lot of people who offer merchandise, t-shirts or hats or whatever, probably have other people helping them out with that aspect of their online presence. I'm a one-man show, literally. I've said that before. So it's not like I have my my merchandise person handling that, and my editing person doing all the editing, and my camera person doing all the recording, and all I have to do is show up as the star of the show and do my thing, and then spend the rest of the day sipping martinis and I don't know, watching Dancing Girls or something like that. So there's only so much time that I have for all of this. But the merchandise idea is a good one. I tried t-shirts. I had a t-shirt vendor for a while, and that didn't really pan out too well. Maybe I'll try something like that again someday if I can find the right vendor out there and direct people maybe through the website to that vendor, that entity, and see how that goes. We'll see. Oh, real quick, I got to get this announcement out because I told Love Dogs 1954 I would do this. We are going to, and I'll put this up on the news section of the website here in the near future. Some of you might recall a couple of years ago, we did a training session here. It was located in Northeast Ohio with a Special Forces operator conducting the training for anyone who was interested in attending. Um, and I actually had him come on in a live stream. We did an interview, but we're going to be doing another training session like that. It's going to be coming up on October 26th. We're looking for someone in the northeastern Ohio area that might be willing to be a food vendor for the people who are going to attend that training session. This would be basically a sponsorship idea. So if you would be willing to sponsor that event as a food vendor, I can put you on my website. We will promote you as much as we can through the organization. If you're someone who might be willing to do that, please contact me through the website. Go to hrfunk.com, click on the Contact HR tab. You can fill out the little online email thing there and send that to me. I will redirect that to Love Dogs 1954 and put you in contact with him. He's the one actually coordinating all that. So if you're somebody that has a restaurant, catering service, or what have you, and you would be interested in doing that, please contact me through the website and I will get you to him. And I'll try to remember to mention that again before the end of the show. And what have I missed here? Nutty 357 on vacation this week, 4 more days to go. Hope you're having a great vacation. James Vatter, why are you breaking up like a 1980s MTV video? You know what? It's because I'm doing this virtual background thing and I'm probably too far away from the camera for it to work just exactly right. But what you see behind me is the homepage for the website that I just announced a couple of minutes ago. And I wanted to get this up so everybody can see how it looks. Again, it's hrfunk.com. If you go there, there's information about me, there's news and events, there's product information, discount codes. So please check that out. Time warp. Texas Red 01. Some folks like Sea and Arsenal and Forgotten Weapons have expanded into a service called, I believe that's pronounced Player. They seem to like it. Yeah, I know they're out there. And again, that's one more thing for me to try to manage. You know, every time I branch out into everything or into another thing, which is another reason I have not been real crazy about that. If anyone is interested in that, if it and I'm not begging, I'm not asking, I'm not none of that. But if you're interested in supporting the channel financially, I mean, and you want to become a channel member, go to one of my videos and there's a section there where you can become a channel member and it will lay out all the different things that you can do and amounts. I think I've not changed it since I set that up. I think it's $2.99 is the lowest amount. I think $5.99 is the mid tier. And a couple of years ago, I bumped it up to a $9.99 because people had asked me to do that. If you want to do something like that on a monthly basis, just go to one of the videos and you can click on it. It's down by the info section. And I guess it actually says join now that I think about it. And you can join as a channel member. I'm not asking you to. It's not going to change anything you see as far as the videos are concerned. But I try to do some perks on there for people. But like I said, I'm not very good at that. And somebody, I think, sent me an email. Let me look here because I might be missing. Let's see. Dan Byers sent me apparently a test email. I got it, Dan. Ken DePiro, or excuse me, KD Cowboy. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to say your name. Got a test email from him. And Jeff Tim also has sent an email. So, yes, I got all of those. By the way, as always, if anyone wants to join as a guest on the show, all you have to do is send an email to hrfunksmail@gmail.com. I will send you a link and you can join. Keep in mind, if you join with your camera activated, everyone around the world will be able to see you. So try to look presentable. And I'm just going down through the comments again. Dave Strohmeyer, thanks for the chat and the update. You are most welcome. Thank you for joining. Scott from South Carolina. My nephew is doing a 3-gun cowboy shooting, pistol, lever action, and shotgun. He lives in Cleveland. Cool. You know what? Do you know where he's doing that? I always thought that might be fun sometime. The thing I like about cowboy action shooting, I've never done it, but the whole dress up like a cowboy and go and shoot the bad guys and all it strikes a chord with my youth where I was, always back in the 70s watching Gunsmoke and Bonanza and all those kind of shows. And I just always thought that's a really fun type of shooting. Like I said, I've never done it, but I'm not above doing it for the first time. I'd probably be lousy at it, but I just think it'll be a lot of fun. Dan Byers. Oh, you know what? If you were sending a message to be a guest or an email to be a guest, please resend that because I thought it was just a test email, so I deleted it. So if you wanted to be a guest on the show, please resend that, and I will get you a link. Josh Slack, can't wait to check out the website. Love your videos. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. Charles Justice, what's your big announcement? I have been making it here for the last probably 15 minutes now. I launched a website, which if you go there, it's hrfunk.com. And it's basically a one-stop location for everything to do with my video efforts and things that I'm doing. I talked about a little while ago, if I'm going to be doing an appearance somewhere, that'll be in the news section. I want to start posting links to my videos as I produce them on there. So you can go on and be able to see anything that if you didn't get a YouTube notice or whatever, you'll be able to see that. I've got some information about myself. I've got product information. I've got discount codes. So that was the big announcement for today. And the homepage looks like right what you're seeing behind me here. Ben Crane, is it bourbon o'clock yet? No, it's not even 3. What's wrong with you, Ben? It's not even 3 o'clock yet. Richard E., don't they call that SAS? SAS is the governing agency or governing organization for that, the Single Action Shooting Society. But generally, they call those cowboy action shoots. Charles Justice, thanks for checking it out. And unlikely as it may be, I am caught up in the comments. And we've got 77 people in here. Fantastic. Been going for about 45 minutes. And it feels like I just got started. And I just got that email from Dan Byer. So let me get this to him. Dan, just so you know, when you hold on just a second here while I do this. When you click on the link, I can't remember if you've been on here before or not, but it will walk you through the process to become or to appear on the video here. Here we go. All right, Dan, I just sent you that link and you should be able to click on it. I'll get something here. I'll be able to see you and I'll bring you in where everyone else can see you. And I don't know how well this will work with the virtual background. So I think I'll take this down for a moment. Some of you might be, your eyes might be getting sore anyway, watching me fade in and out of this thing. So there we go. Back to my plain old normal background. ED says it's bourbon time. All right, you guys talk me into it. Jeff Tim, wait a minute, where'd that go? Ever had an alignment problem with an M1A in the page header? No, I thought that looked pretty good when I had it on there. Nutty 357, hit the thumbs up on the way to the door. Thank you. Sean Zimmerman thought SAS was a rifle. Some people use that acronym for special application. Special application sniper system. Is that right? That sounds right. Craig Benz, the About HR section was written in third person. Somehow seems makes it seem awkward. Yeah, I wanted to write it that way, and I also wrote the. I do the news part of it in third person, so it sounds like it's being presented by a reporter, and then also in that About section, since it was a biography, it sounded weird to me to say, I did this and I did that and I did something else. So that's the reason I presented it that way. And Dan is here. Let me bring him in. Hello, Dan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know how to get that other part of the video off there. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing real well. Thanks for joining. Do you have anything for the order of the group here today? Still there?
Just that cowboy action shooting. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you now.
Okay, that cowboy action shooting, those are the guys to blame when you can't find 45 long Colt guns.
Well, with the price that I've seen for 45 Colt ammunition here lately, I think a lot of those guys must hand load either that or they're individually wealthy, because that stuff is so expensive. I don't know how you could shoot very much of it. Well, I had that 44 Special revolver here a couple of months ago that came to me, or not a couple of months ago, but a couple of weeks ago, came to me from Charter Arms. And I know when I was looking at the price on that stuff, it was just outrageous. Fortunately, I had some old stuff laying around here, and I also had quite a few hand loads, and that's what I used for that video. But man, that stuff's expensive.
Oh yeah. Well, it was probably about 2 years ago. I bought a box of 45 long Colt cowboy action loads from local hardware store. It was $45 a box then, and he said, "You only want one?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Well, you better get it now. Why you can get it? Because I can't get the stuff."
Yeah, it's when you do find it, it's expensive. If you look online, you can find a lot of those cartridges, but man, the prices are just outrageous. I hope we see some sanity come back to ammunition pricing, but I don't know. It seems like every time you turn around, you hear that, a company has stopped shipping powder and it's all going to military production or whatever. And just, it doesn't seem to be an end in sight to any of that. Brass is going up, lead goes up.
Yeah, there's some really good buys on different websites. I use that aim down there in Monroe, Ohio, uh, for some of the ammunition when it was during COVID and I couldn't get ammo. I'd go through them but yeah, the prices now for like 9 millimeter and some of your other standard calibers are really cheap.
Yeah, the 9 millimeter and 556 NATO is semi-sane again. If
Yeah,
you get into some of the others like 762 NATO, I saw some 3030 the other day that was not outrageous for the first time in a long time. It was, what was that stuff? I want to say it was 20 or $25 for a box of 20, as opposed to 35, 40, $50 for 3030 ammunition. So I've seen a little bit of stuff start to come down, but not a lot.
yeah. At Dunham Sports, we have that in my home area of Meadville, Pennsylvania. They always have a really good supply of ammo, but if they run a sale, boy, I tell you what, you better be there the minute they open the doors, or that stuff is gone.
Yeah, that's the other problem is the availability.
But pretty hot down there today. I'm up here in Linesville, PA, at my girlfriend's house, and humidity's kicking pretty good. Feels like Florida.
Looks like the current temperature here is 91.
Yeah, it's
So,
about 89 here, or 88, something like that. But yeah, right on Pymatuming Lake. You probably know where that's at.
okay, yeah.
Up
It's
here.
kind of funny too because a week or so ago, everybody was talking about how cold it was. It was down in the low 70s, 60s daytime temperature, and now we're up in the 90s. So it just goes from one end to the other, which is weather in Ohio or weather in this area, basically.
Well, yeah, like you say, that last what was it, about a week ago, I guess. In the morning, we had one morning it was like 43 degrees here.
That sounds about right. I know it was getting cool.
But I just thought I'd check in with you, HR. Let somebody else jump in here, and I'll get out of the way and listen.
Well, I appreciate it, Dan. You have a great day.
Yeah, you take care. Good to talk to you. Thank you.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And that was Dan Byers joining us, everyone. And that's the way it's done. If anyone wants to join as a guest, if you haven't seen that before, just shoot me a quick email and I will get you on just like Dan. And we can have a discussion back and forth. And while we were talking, I probably missed some comments over here. Craig Benz, if it ain't 9mm or 556, the price is bad. Yeah, that's what I said. And I know what it is. They crank out such high volume of those things that they're able to lower the price on those specific items. But man, you get very far outside of that, and it is expensive. Richard E. SAS requires strictly lead bullets. I don't think I knew that. I don't think I ever heard that before. Craig Benz saw 30 carbine on the shelf for $99 for 50 rounds. Holy smokes. Scott Person, I love listening to the North complain about the. Yeah, okay. Well, we like listening to people in the South complain about the cold. So take that. ED 90-ish in North Bama. It's so about the same temperature there as it is here. That's kind of surprising. Jimmy Ruger, Canfield, Ohio, swap meet, September 6th to the 9th, firearms, archery, etc. Does anybody here in, basically mid-Ohio, but probably anywhere in Ohio, remember the Kenton Coon Dog trials? And as I say that, I feel like I should hear banjos playing in the background or something. But my grandfather was a big coon hunter here in Ohio. He did that his entire life. He was actually was very, very good. He had trophies. He had a room full of trophies from going to different night hunts and one thing and another. But every year actually just outside the town of Kenton, Ohio, they had what they called the Kenton Coon Dog Trials, which was a huge thing back in the day. And all these people would come in from all across the United States with hunting dogs and firearms and all kinds of. It was this gigantic swap meet competition, whatever, for people that hunted raccoons. And I can remember going there a few times. It was always, it was fun. It was comical, but man, you saw the strangest things there. And I'll just throw that out for now. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, you can post a comment over here. But it was something back in the day, and I don't think it exists anymore. It was always on Labor Day weekend, kind of like the Jerry Lewis Telethon, which is another thing some of you youngsters won't have any idea what I'm talking about. Oops, I bumped my microphone. Katie's going to call tomorrow, but he has to get a hold of a makeup artist first. Scott from South Carolina, Hop sells 30 carbine. I think they do. Check the website for their availability. They load a lot of cartridges that you don't see every day, like 38 Super. That's one of the ones they typically have. And I really like their 38 Super ammunition. What else do they load that's kind of unusual? 50 Beowulf. I did a video on that a while back. 4570, I think they do. Of course, all the common ones. 357 Magnum, 9mm, 38 Special. Although they do all that stuff, but trying to think of some of the ones that are unusual. I have to look at their website. If you're looking for ammunition, check out the House of Pain Munitions site and see what they load and what they have in stock at any given time. Their prices are as good as you can get, and you can always use my discount code there to save yourself a little bit on your purchase from House of Pain. Texas Red looked trying SAS in the late 90s, had a USAF or USFA, U.S. Firearms, single action Army, 94 Winchester, 45 Colt. Came to find out you need 2 revolvers. I did not know that. I didn't know you had to have 2 revolvers. I've seen videos of the competition, and I've not seen people shooting more than 1 revolver at a time. So that's odd. I'm kind of surprised. Medal of Honor named the town Kenton, Ohio. And I'm going down through here again. Some of you guys are talking to each other, and I'm looking for the next comment directed at me. Kenneth Garrett knew some folks who went to the trials up there. Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. It was kind of strange, kind of weird, but it was fun. Bob, whatever happened to the 45 gap? I think it gasps its last breath. I don't know if you can even get that stuff anymore. There might be some lingering stock out there someplace, but I haven't seen anything about 45 gap in a long time. That was one of those things where I guess Glock was trying to be innovative with that stuff and come up with something that was going to mirror the ballistics of the 45 ACP, but be more compact, and they could put it in a smaller handgun, but there just wasn't the interest in it. And I don't even know if they really ever marketed it that hard. I remember a kind of a surge of marketing when they first launched it, and then that was the last you ever heard of it. And we've seen that with other cartridges. Anybody remember, what was it, the 9mm Federal that was a rimmed 9mm cartridge, so you could load it in 9mm revolvers? That lasted for about 5 minutes. What are some of the others? You guys can throw some in there. The 375 Winchester, the shortened 3855 that was around back in the 80s, which was actually, I thought, a pretty decent cartridge, but that's long gone. Trying to think of some of the others that were huge out of the gates, or there was a lot of excitement out of the gates that just died. Is the 17 HMR around anymore? I haven't heard anything about that for a long time. But anyway, back to the comments. KD Cowboy has got to go out and do some lawn work. Thanks for joining, KD. Glad you made it. Does Hop have 357 SIG? I don't know. Take a look at their website and see. I don't remember seeing that there, but I could be wrong. Kenneth Garrett, coon hunting is plain as a culture, plain and simple. It really is. Jeff Tim, 45 gap was a Florida Highway Patrol standard. Not no more. 30 super carries. Yeah. And it's funny because I produced that video a couple of months back talking about 30 super carry, and I just didn't care for it. I didn't feel like it offered enough benefit over and above cartridges that are well established that it made me want to go out and get one. And I get hate mail on that one pretty routinely, and people telling me about how it's a better cartridge than a 9mm and yada yada yada. And well, it's also more expensive and it's harder to find. And I just, for me, I would rather go with the 9mm. I can find it everywhere. It's affordable. It's not as expensive as 30 super carry. So that's just me. But if you have a firearm chambered for that cartridge and you like it, I'm glad it works for you. I'm not being negative toward you or your choice for that firearm or that cartridge or whatever. But for me, I would rather use something else. Range Randy, I have been looking at getting a 1911 double stack. That's about the only type of handgun that I don't have. What entry level 1911 double stack would you recommend? I would recommend the one that I have, which is a Tizash, and I've got two of them. I don't have two of them, but they offer two of them. They offer the B9R, which is what I have. That one is a commander length double stack 9mm that basically follows the 2011 format. The other one is their B9R Duty. Mine is a carry. They have a B9R Duty that is the full length 5-inch double stack polyframe 9mm. That B9R carry, I took that to that training course that I went to several weeks ago and shot it during the course. It never missed a beat. It's accurate enough. It's a great firearm. The only issue I had, and my understanding is they have addressed this, is when I tried to mount an optic to it, the first one I used was the Hollow Sun, and there was not enough elevation adjustment in that sight to be able to bring it to point of aim, point of impact. Now I mounted a different sight. I mounted a Siley optic sight, which is still on there. And that one I was able to adjust, and it shoots just fine. But as I said, my understanding is that Tizash has addressed that with their mounting base in the slide, and the newer production double stack Tizash pistols should work okay with the Hollow Sun or whatever else. I haven't tested one. I can't say that authoritatively, but that's my understanding. Craig Benz have a 375 Winchester and some actual factory ammo. That stuff, I think I've seen it at gun shows or somewhere, and it's just ridiculously priced because there's not very much of it anymore. But I thought that was a pretty good cartridge. I don't know why it died, really. And now we have the what is that new one that is the one that for straight wall stage you can chamber it in AR platform, 350 Legend, which I don't think is as good a cartridge for deer size game as the 375 Winchester, but for whatever reason, that one seems to be doing okay, and the 375 Winchester is no more. Ben Crane, the first ammo I bought from them was 357 SIG. Okay, thanks, Ben. Thanks for clearing that up. Jeff Tim, I've heard other people talk about the 30 Super Carry and comparing it to the 32 French Long. So I think you are correct there. Scott from South Carolina, Glock is a double stack. Unless I thought he was asking for a double stack 1911, but obviously if it's just a double stack 45 ACP, then there are a lot of them. Roderick is here from Maryland. Thanks for joining, Roderick. Kenneth Garrett, how's the Raider doing? It's doing great. In fact, I was thinking just within the last day or so, I need to get that out for another video. It's been a while since I've had it in front of the camera. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to be doing some ballistic testing coming up, which is going to be a little bit of a departure. It's something I used to do for my police department when I worked there, and we were talking about changing from one ammunition to another and looking at the ballistic performance and all that. And I've been trying to come up with a simplified way of doing it, and I think I've got that figured out. I've got a plan to try. We'll see how it goes. But I want to start out with some what I'll call legacy ammunition or ammunition from back in the day, because I've had this lingering question in my mind as to whether or not we really have more effective ammunition today when it comes to producing a wound that will stop a bad guy, or do we just have more effective ammunition marketing today, trying to convince everybody you need to get the latest, greatest high-tech bullet load out there to be able to have any prayer of defending yourself? So I wanted to try to take a look at this and see what we can decide. You know, maybe so. Maybe the bullet technology has improved to the point that it far and away produces greater wounds or has greater wounding potential than anything we saw back in the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s. Or maybe not so much. That's what I want to try to figure out. Ben Crane, not rid of any real world usage, but the bottom has fallen out for pistols chambered in it. That's a bad sign for longevity. Yeah. My perception of the 357 SIG is it's a pretty good cartridge that outpaces the 9mm, but that's really all it does. It outpaces the 9mm. Is it really any more effective? And this kind of goes back to what I was just saying a moment ago. When it comes to stopping bad guys from doing bad things, does it do that any more effectively than a 9mm cartridge, 9mm plus P, or 40 Smith & Wesson, or 45 ACP, or whatever? And there is so many, or there are so many variables when it comes to the stopping power idea. I think the absolute best information out there is not much more than a semi-educated guess. Because when we think about every person being an individual with different physiology, different psychology, different toxicology, different all those other ologies, just because a bullet performs one way in one person and gets a particular result, I don't think that necessarily can be looked at as any sort of proof that in another individual, it's going to get the same type of performance. When we look back at the stopping power work that was done by Evan Marshall and Ed Sanow back in the day, which these days is really not real highly regarded. You know, they were trying to do that. They were trying to look at this stuff and say, you know, we got X number of shots that were taken with this type of ammunition, and here were the results, and here's what happened, and here's this and that. everybody's an individual. Okay, just because it stopped this individual under these circumstances on this day doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stop that individual on under these circumstances on another day. Um, yeah, everybody tries to read the tea leaves. The FBI came up with their protocol for testing bullets, and they're looking at penetration and they're looking at expansion and all that kind of thing. And that, as many of you know, came out of the 1986 incident that they had down in Miami, Florida. Again, they're trying to read the tea leaves. Absent a central nervous system hit, and really a central nervous system here, trying to say that something else is going to turn out the lights in X amount of seconds or milliseconds or whatever. It's like trying to predict the weather on a certain date at a certain time 6 months from now or a year from now or whatever. There are just too many variables to take into consideration. And again, I'm rambling. Let me check the email quick, make sure nobody else chimed in and wanted to become a guest. And no, looks like nobody else has sent an email yet. So back to the chat feed over here. Sean Zimmerman, thoughts on the 5.7? I'm not real impressed with it, I guess is what I'll say. It improves on the ballistics of the 22 Magnum a little bit, but there's nothing it does that really astounds me or makes me think that I want to have that cartridge or a firearm chamber for that cartridge or whatever. A lot of people are huge fans of it. It doesn't do anything for me. Sir Romulus talking to Dan. So let me jump on down here. Texas Red 01. I thought the 357 SIG was intended to replicate the performance of the 125 grain 357 Magnum in a semi-auto. It was, and it more or less did that. And again, that goes back to that one-shot stop thing that I was talking about a little while ago that came out of the Sanow and Marshall study, where the 125 grain 357 Magnum was considered to be the highest one-shot stop. So much, and I love the 357 Magnum. I think it's a great cartridge. I think, when it comes to making bad guys stop doing bad things, 357 Magnum does it as well as basically anything out there. But still, every person is an individual. There's no way around that. There's no way to say this is the magic bullet that's going to vaporize everybody in their tracks. It doesn't exist. And there's really no study out there or no science that would support, one cartridge, one round, one is the thing. If so, that's the only cartridge and the only firearms that would be available. Range Randy, thanks. Saw your video on the Tizosh. Looking forward to that, and also Springfield Paradigm, which has initial problems, I heard, with a lot of MIM parts. I don't know much about the Paradigm, but Springfield Armory, one of the things that bothers me about them is or are the number of MIM parts that they use in their 1911s. Now, not across the board. Their higher end 1911s have machine parts, but for the price they charge for some of their not higher end 1911s, I am unimpressed with the number of MIM parts in there. Richard E., Connecticut State Police said 357 was cruel and unusual punishment. Prodigy. Okay, when you said the whatever was up there that came up, I didn't think that sounded familiar. I thought maybe there was one that I missed, but the Prodigy, I actually did a review on that, and it's an okay handgun. The best part of it, I think, was the optic mounting platform. I think that's pretty innovative. But beyond that, it's just another polymer frame striker fired handgun to me. Now, somebody else might have it and really like it, but it just didn't do anything for me. All right, gang, what are we up to here? An hour and 16 minutes. So I'm going to take this to an hour and 20, an hour and 25, something like that. If you have any last minute comments, questions, or anything for the good of the order, or if you want to join as a guest, get that in quickly. Otherwise, we'll wrap things up pretty soon here. Again, if you tuned in late, the big announcement today was I have launched a website. It is hrfunk.com, and I will bring up the virtual background to show you what the homepage looks like one more time. If you go to hrfunk.com, you're going to find this page right there looking at you. You can click on any of the things on there, the About Me, the products page, the contact, or the news and info section. I'm going to try to be very dedicated or very vigilant when it comes to posting things on here, getting things up. I want to get video links on there. If you haven't gotten a notice from YouTube for a long time about a video that I've posted, check here, and in all likelihood, there's going to be a link to videos you just never got a notice on. But that was the big announcement for today. A slightly smaller announcement is the new email that you see down here at the bottom, hrfunksmail@gmail.com. If you need to contact me, you can contact me at that address. And if you send a message through the website, it will go to that email address. It comes to my phone. It comes to my home computer. So that's going to be available. And I'm going to take this down again just because that it really is kind of weird the way it cuts me in and cuts me out of the screen. So back over here to the comments. Bob, my cousin is a trauma surgeon in San Antonio, Texas, seen more than a few folks shot dead with 22 long rifles. So have I. He's probably seen more than I have, but I've seen my share, and I know that a 22 will certainly do somebody in if it hits the right spot. So, like I said, when it comes down to terminal ballistics, a lot of it is, licking your finger, sticking it in the air, reading the tea leaves, and trying to predict with absolute certainty that this or that or whatever is going to definitely stop somebody. Is, if anybody tells you that, if they're like, this is the one, this is the cartridge, this is the firearm that's definitely going to do it, I wouldn't put a lot of stock in what those people say. Kyle Jackson, did anybody bring up the new version of the Springfield operator using the AOS? I just saw something about that. I think Such had a review on that within the last day or two. I don't know much about it. I don't know if it's the same optic platform that they're using in the Prodigy. I kind of hope it is, but I have to do a little more research on that myself to find out more about it. Jeff Tim, the agency you're with that adopted the 40 Smith & Wesson, what bullet weight did they standardize? We standardized the 165 grain. I think we used a 165 grain Spear Gold Dot was our duty issue. Bob, congrats on your website. Thank you. And Carrie Ellis, thank you as well. And Roderick. Roderick, foot pounds, kinetic energy, chronograph speed, ballistic test, gel testing. Otherwise, we need volunteers for test. No, I don't think we're going to get too many volunteers. I'm not going to be volunteering either. Sean Zimmerman, any thoughts on ATF raiding homes at 6 a.m. And people ending up dead? Not really. I mean, I hear those stories. I don't know enough of the circumstances or background or whatever to make any kind of an educated statement. So I'm not going to. Yakinator, you have a Facebook page? No, I do not have a Facebook page. I have a website that I've launched, hrfunk.com. Kyle Jackson, thank you. Floridian, thank you too. My drink to keep my vocal cords going is running out. All right, gang. I am going to start to wrap it up here. Thanks to all of you for joining today. We had a high water mark up well over 70 people that were watching and participating at the same time. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it more than you can ever know. Thanks to all of you for 12 and a half years now of watching the videos, supporting the channel, commenting on the video, participating in the live streams. Now, hopefully viewing the website. I would not be here. Believe me, I would not be here without all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to my channel members for the monthly contribution. You guys are amazing. Just like I was talking about earlier in the video, we get into these periods where YouTube is demonetizing everything. And I've been kind of dealing with that here lately. Not every single video, but this one will be monetized. That one won't be. There's no rhyme or reason. And my channel members, that contribution you make really, really, really helps out. Thank you very much. We'll do this again soon, folks. We got a lot of great things coming up. I talked about the ammo test that I'm doing. We've got a great classic battle rifle. Some of you might have seen the picture already in the community post that I put up, I think, yesterday. We've got some great optic reviews coming. So thanks to all of you. Have a great day, everyone. And hopefully, don't forget, 8 o'clock tomorrow, new video. Hopefully you can be there for that. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye for now, and have a great day and a great holiday weekend.